Brandon Martin, welcome to the John Fredericks Radio Network Disruptor segment. Great to have you.
Good morning. Glad to be with you.
You're seeking the Republican nomination for Congress in the 2nd District in Arizona. Tell me about the district. Give our listeners a flavor. Where is it? And who's the incumbent? And tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we are in southeast Arizona. We are right on the border. So everything that you're talking about with the border crisis, everything that the nation is interested about, what the president has been talking about for 2.5 years, we are that district. So we're right here on the border in southeast Arizona, and currently Ann Kirkpatrick is holding that seat.
So how long has she been there?
This is her first term.
Okay, so she got elected
in this district.
She got elected in the midterms in the wave in 2018, right?
Yeah, she got elected in 2018. Formerly, she was in CD1. She traveled down here. She's an opportunist, and she came down and ran last year and took this seat.
All right, and she won this over Leah Peterson, and she got almost 55% of the vote. So she won by 10. What kind of a district is this? How did Trump do here in 2016?
So Trump lost the district in 2016, and it's really a back and forth district. It swings back and forth. Before Ann Kirkpatrick, Martha McSally was in the seat, and so it's really. It's got a history of going back and forth, and we're going to make sure that it goes back to the red this time.
All right, so you got a swing district. Martha McSally that ran as the Republican nominee for Senate in 2018. She lost to Kirsten Sinema, who, by the way, has been kind of a maverick, right? I mean, I know she's very liberal and all that, but as far as Democratic senator goes, she's about the only one that shows any independence in there. She's voted against Schumer several times. So she's an interesting woman, no question about it. I like following her because she is an independent thinker, and she's also wondering how she's going to get reelected in 2024, right? So that's for another day. I kind of like what I've seen so far from her. But let's get to your district. McSally was the representative there. Now it's swung back. Kirkpatrick's got it. So how does Brandon Martin win in 2020?
Well, we have to get out and we have to reach as many voters as possible. Last year when we ran, we had a great showing for a first-time candidate, and we came out and we really did extremely well, and that's a testament to everyone that worked on the campaign, all those people out there that believed in our message. And this time we just have to go reach more people. We have to knock every door, knock it again. We have to reach the independents, and we have to take this seat back because right now the border issues, everything that the president cares about, everything that conservatives care about, it starts right here in this district.
All right, so last time when you ran, that was in 2018, did you run, right?
Yes, I did.
And you lost the Republican nomination to Leah Peterson?
By 3,700 votes.
Right. So what makes you a better candidate this time around than some of the other people running for the Republican nomination in that district?
Well, it's name ID mostly. I mean, that's just what it is. Last campaign we started, no one knew who we were, and we went out and we carried the message, and we met a lot of people. Put over 30,000 miles on the vehicle, and we just went out to every door, every meeting, and we talked to people, and we had a great showing. But this time we have more support than we did last time. I mean, we have, it's just a great following, and we're gonna do bigger and better, and we're gonna bring in more people this time. I mean, I already have 5 times as many people working on my campaign right now than I did at the end of the last one.
We're with Brandon Martin. He's running for U.S. Congress, Arizona's 2nd congressional district. That's southeast Arizona. This is a swing district. Martha McSally represented it before she ran for the U.S. Senate nomination, won that, losing in 2018 on these absentee ballots that came in on the end by Kirsten Sinema, and he's trying to be the Republican nominee. How many other Republicans are in this race?
There are 3 other first-time candidates.
Okay, so you're a second-time candidate. Are you a Trump supporter, and do you back the president's America First policies agenda?
Absolutely, I do. Back the president. Love what he's doing, putting America first, and we have to carry that torch and that message, and we got to make sure that we secure this district in Arizona.
I get a lot of people that come on our Disruptors segment, Brandon Martin, who say that they're going to back the president. But then you look at what happened in 2016. A bunch of these Republicans abandoned him, wouldn't back him, turned their back on him. We got no wall. We didn't get things passed. McCain didn't pass the repeal and replace bill. Kind of wheels came off for there. No wall, no funding. How do we know that what you're telling us? How do we know if you get to Congress, you're going to stand behind this president and his policies? How do we know that?
Well, I care about this country. That's been my whole life. I was an Army interrogator. I worked on Fort Huachuca in the district. I'm a member of this community that cares about this issue. I mean, this is something that affects my district and my community. I live approximately 10 miles north of the border. I want to see that border secure. It's something that the federal government has attempted to do for 30 years now, and it needs to be done. So we're going to get in there and we're going to show the people that we say what we mean and mean what we say, and we're going to get that wall built and we're going to secure the border.
We're with Brandon Martin. He's running for Congress, Arizona's 2nd congressional district. That's the southeast portion of Arizona. It's also on the border with Mexico. Martin served as an intel professional in the U.S. Army Reserves for over a decade. He fought in Afghanistan, collecting intel on enemy combatants. And he says that he knows what it does to fight the enemy. So tell us, you've been to the border in your district, right? What are the ranchers saying?
Well, the ranchers have really had, they've been vocal for years. They've had people coming across their land. I had the support of the ranchers here in Cochise County last election, and they're saying the same thing. They're saying, look, we've been trying to secure this border for years, and no one's been serious about it. And unfortunately, they've been let down by the left and the right. There's people on the left, they want to build a voter base, and people on the right want cheap labor. So nothing's ever been done about it. It's just a carrot and a political wedge issue. But the ranchers, they want to see this border secure, and we're going to help them do that.
I tell you what, you just talked about what we've been saying for 10 years on the air, the unholy alliance between open borders Democrats that say one thing but want open borders in order to get votes and power, and open borders Republicans whose donors run Wall Street and Goldman Sachs, and the gangster bankers that give them money to look the other way so they can get cheap labor and drive down wages and drive up profits. That's been the unholy alliance, Brandon Martin, that's been going on in the country for 40 years. That's why we have these problems. They keep softening the laws because you got both sides in this unholy alliance that want different things. One wants to make more money, the other wants power, and therein lies the devil's bargain they made. Now you're trying to change that. If you get to Congress, how do we know you're going to fight for this? I mean, the fact that Republicans, half of them didn't even fight for the tax cut in there in 2018, right? They abandoned that. They were scared of that. Every time Trump sends a tweet out, they pee down their leg. They're afraid of that. How do we know you're going to go in there and fight for this guy?
This is the issue. I mean, this is the election. Republicans have never had more of a reason to come out and vote than the border, securing the border, immigration, the economy. I want to see my district prosper. I want to see the lives of the ranchers, the people in these communities. I want them to see that they have a politician, someone who's representing them that they can trust. And I truly want the best for my district, and I'm going to go out there. And no other candidate worked harder than I did last year, and no other candidate will outwork me this year. And it's going to remain the same when I get to Congress.
When you're knocking on doors, and you mentioned that you put 30,000 miles on your car 2018, and now I assume you're doing it again, Brandon Martin. When you're in Southeast Arizona in your district and you knock on doors and you go into somebody's living room, or I'm a little bit older, so I used to call it the parlor, right? Remember that? You go into their parlor and you say, look, tell me what's on your mind. What's a common theme?
Well, in this district, it's border security, number one by far. I mean, the second's not even close. It's border security. That's what the people in this district care about. And it's something that is talked about across the nation. It's something that, that people, the president, people want to see, people tweet about. We live it here in this district. I mean, we are ground zero for all these illegals that sneak across the border, the drugs that come across, the human trafficking. It hits our district. So by and far, that's what the people are talking about.
Your opponent, if you are the nominee, and Kirkpatrick, when the Democrats had the debate in Miami, and I was live for that in Miami, when they put up their hands for open borders, basically, would you decriminalize crossing the border illegally, right? They all put up their hand. They want open borders. Where does Ann Kirkpatrick stand on that?
Kirkpatrick is open borders. She actually has really done nothing to help the issue, only hurt it. And then once people come across, she's fighting to open new government positions to help these people come across. She's encouraging it. It's, you brought up the Democrat presidential candidates, and I think it's criminal what they're doing. And we just saw Beto go across the border and campaign stump in Mexico. And that is, I believe every one of these Democrats are directly contributing to the problem we have in this country. And when we see these things happen across the border, whether it's human trafficking, drug trafficking, these people dying as they try to cross, these Democrats are encouraging it, and they're directly responsible.
Beto O'Rourke going to Mexico and campaigning, isn't that interference by a foreign government in our elections? I mean, what am I missing here, Brandon?
That's exactly what I said. I mean, that's, all with everything that the Democrats have talked about for the last 2.5 years, and we knew they weren't going to accept the results of the investigation. We knew it before it started. But here a candidate goes across the border and is directly asking people, encouraging people to break our laws, saying that they should come here. There's no longer a happy medium. There's extremes, and the left is they're running on a losing message, and they're courting people outside of this country.
Well, let me ask you something else. When you go to Mexico and you are campaigning, I mean, obviously you're campaigning to Mexicans. And so when you campaign, like when you go out today and campaign, what are you trying to do, right? Get votes. I mean, that's the objective of campaign, right? Brandon Martin, vote for me for the Republican nomination for Congress, Arizona's 2nd District, because I'll beat Ann Kirkpatrick and I'll stand with the president. That's what you're trying to get the votes. So if Beto O'Rourke goes to Mexico and he's campaigning, what is he campaigning for? Mexicans to come over the border illegally and then register to vote illegally and vote for him illegally. I mean, the whole thing should be the biggest scandal of July, and yet he gets a pass. It's like, oh, it's okay, go to Mexico and campaign there. I mean, Brandon, we live in an insane time. Absolutely insane. Okay, how do you win the nomination?
Well, we win by looking at the numbers, and I've looked at everything that has come across, and we have to develop a smart plan. But what we do is we talk to good folks like you, your smart listeners. We talk to people around the country that are tired of this. Ann Kirkpatrick, open borders. She's got a 100% rating from every pro-choice organization in the country that means anything. I think the last NRA rating she got was at 13%. I mean, everything that conservative America, liberty-loving Americans believe in, she stands against. So right now we're gathering support. We have a great American, and Kurt Schilling we just met him this past weekend. Great American, great human being, and he's going to help us out, and we're gathering big support. Mark Walters, another great American patriot. I mean, just people are coming because these are the issues that they care about, and we have to win this election.
Brandon Martin. More information, go to BrandonMartinForCongress.com. That's BrandonMartinForCongress.com. You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network, our Disruptor segment. Thanks for being with us